Oh, hello, and thank you for joining me for Veg with Lisa Live. I'm Lisa.
These are vegetables, and this is definitely live. I was thinking about that earlier as I was getting ready, and sure, I could hire a producer and a photographer.
Show you that this can be, it can be so easy and fun to do your own thing. You don't need to have fancy people and fancy equipment and fancy kitchens. God knows I don't. It's so easy and fun to get in your own kitchen with whatever you got and eat some veg. And that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you these absolutely beautiful Swiss chard leaves and where you can buy them. I'm going to tell you where you can buy them. I'm going to show you how to cook with them. And then I'm going to make a delicious, creamy Swiss chard and tahini dip with garlic scapes. Now, don't worry, if you don't have garlic scapes, no problemo. You can use regular old garlic. But I love cooking this time of the year, especially when I can get stuff at the farmer's market, and there were garlic scapes and Swiss chard galore yesterday at the River Arts Farmer's Market. So I snapped a bunch up and thought, what fun stuff. What fun trouble can I get into with garlic scapes? Easy for me to say. And Swiss chard. But before I dig in, please let me know that you're here and that you can see me and that you can hear me. Type in the comments, say hi. Okay, good, because I talk to myself enough as it is. So Swiss chard, what is Swiss chard? Well, it is this. This is actually rainbow chard because of the colorful rainbow stems. Hello, Rob from Columbia. Is Maeve watching with you? I hope so too. Hello, hello. Columbia, South Carolina is in the house. Swiss chard. Rainbow chard colored stems. Swiss chard will have just regular white stems. I would say that this is kind of like spinach in that it's a little bit lighter. It's not quite as tough as, you know, how kale and collard greens can be kind of Hi, Susan. If I recall, Swiss chard is not your favorite. Is that right? I think it's a member of the beet family, doesn't it? Doesn't it kind of look like a beet? Anyway, if you haven't tried it, what I suggest you do is grow it in your own garden. It's super easy. But if you're not into that, go to your farmer's market. They will have tons of beautiful Swiss chard this time of the year. And if you don't have a farmer's market or you don't have access to one, go to the supermarket. They'll have it. You know, I think kale is awesome, but kale gets all the press and I'm kind of tired of it. Try a new leafy green. Okay, enough of my yakking. I want to show you some really cool stuff happening in this kitchen right now. So today I'm making creamy Swiss chard dip with tahini. And don't let that creamy fool you. This is a plant-based show with garlic scapes. Okay, so what I've already started here is a little bit of the process, so it didn't take quite so long for the show. One of the things that I love about this particular recipe is it uses the stems. A lot of times recipes will have you discard these beautiful stems, which I think is just a crying shame. So one of the reasons I picked this recipe is because it highlights the stems. So let me show you how you do this. You can just rip those off like that. And then if you want, you can take off these ribs as well. Yeah. This one is probably a little tough on the end. So I would chop that off and toss it in my compost and just rip out the stem. That is it. That's all we're going to do. So that's what I've already got started cooking in my cast iron skillet there. Now, the original recipe called for 1/3 of a cup of oil to cook these stems in. So basically it would be poaching or braising the stems in oil. That sounded like a lot of, I mean, it was olive oil. I know that's heart healthy and all, but that still sounded like a lot. So I used about half olive oil and half aquafaba, which is the, and you can just kind of rip these up. We're going to come back to those. Aquafaba is the cooking liquid from chickpeas, the drain, what you, if you buy a can of chickpeas and you drain the liquid, that's called aquafaba, and it's really cool. Again, we're going to come back to those leaves. You can use it for cooking. If you don't have aquafaba, you could use water. Okay, then all you got to do, actually, I'm going to turn this back on. Well, might as well cook with some real heat here, is chop up these stems. Aren't they beautiful? Look at those colors. I just love that so much. Yep, and the smaller you chop them, the less time it will take to cook them until they're tender. All right, so I've got the stems in there. And this recipe called for, the original recipe called for regular old garlic, which is fantastic. If you want to use regular garlic, you can. I, at the same said farmer's market, happened to come across some garlic scapes. So, like hiding something from a child. These are garlic scapes, and they come in an absolutely beautiful bunch. I just think all of this swirliness is so pretty. Okay, so if you have access to these, you could use these. You could also use fresh garlic. Isn't this cool? Also from the farmer's market, the River Arts District Farmer's Market. This is fresh garlic. So garlic grows in the ground like this. And when it starts to get mature, the scape, it's kind of like the flower that comes up and out. And in fact, this would turn into a flower if you left it. However, this little bulb is pretty small, right? And you know, here in America, we like things big. So if you chop off the scape, Rob says this looks like Coda's tail. It does. Sweet little Coda. Luckily, we saved him and he did not get his tail docked. Anyway, if you are growing this in your garden and you chop off the top like this, the energy won't go to produce the flower and the seed, but it'll go back down into the bulb and you'll get a bigger garlic bulb. Isn't that cool? Ellie is in the house. Ellie, where in the world are you? And have you ever played with garlic scapes before? Okay, so we're not going to use that fresh garlic, but I am going to use these scapes. So this is kind of like asparagus in that, yeah, I hope you could, I don't know, maybe you could hear that. The ends would be tough. And then, you know, this is small. The flower is small. I could probably leave it on there, but sometimes those are kind of tough and fibrous. So I'm just going to save these bits for some veggie stock. So again, you can just kind of snap it like you would asparagus. It'll break where it needs to. And I don't want the floury part. So I'm going to chop it off. You know, garlic scapes, like the fresh garlic, is a little bit milder. And I know that the other half of the Sweat Sisters likes a lot of garlic. I prefer a milder taste, especially if it's going to be raw, but this I'm going to cook. So that's one reason why I really like the scapes and or the fresh garlic, because it's just a little bit milder and not quite as strong as the dried. Okay, so in addition to my stems, and I already chopped up the rest of the bunch of the garlic scapes. That is a tongue twister. And then I will cook this down, probably a little bit of salt. Yep, until tender, because we're gonna whir all this up in the food processor and we don't want it to be crunchy. Remember, that was one of the benefits. Whoa, runaway camera. One of the benefits of Swiss chard over kale is it's not quite as chewy. Okay, so, oh, Ellie says garlic a go-go. Those Sweat Sisters, they like their garlic. And I tell you what, my camera is running away. Remember, I told you this is very much live and very much an amateur production. Oh my gosh. Ellie, will you do something about that for me? Okay, then I will add the leaves. So I chopped up all of the leaves off of the rest of the stems that I already sauteed. And you'll simply put that in your pot, probably with a little bit of salt as well. That helps the leaves cook down. And it's one of the cool things I love about leafy greens is that they cook down like crazy, which if you want to eat them sauteed, that can be a bit of a bummer. However, think about all the nutrients that you're getting when all of these greens go and they shrink down, and then you get to eat so much. And Swiss chard in particular, like most leafy greens, is so low in calories. I hope you're still not counting calories. If you are, we need to talk. Actually, a pretty decent source of protein, plant-based protein. Some good fiber, really low in carbs for those of you counting carbs. Again, if you are, let's talk. Remember, it's what kind of carb you eat, not that you're eating carbs. Everybody needs to eat carbs. But perhaps they're most known for their vitamin A, massive amounts of vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin K. So those are big time antioxidants. Yep, if I had a big old lid, I'd plop it on there. but I don't. So I'm going to just set it aside and show you the batch I made earlier in my big red soup pot. So I did this earlier in a Dutch oven, and I liked that better because then I could put the lid on. Actually, I'll put that lid on there. Oh my God. Oh, it's so crazy around here today. Rob, when are you coming home? Oh my goodness gracious. I hope I'm not making you all seasick. I don't know what's happening. I told you this was live. Okay, anywho, this is all of that Swiss chard cooked down. Yes, I used the same amount. Look at how that cooked down, which is so freaking cool. So that was my stems, a bunch of garlic scapes, and then all of those leaves, and I'm not even kidding you, all of those leaves cooked down to that. All right, so now that that's all cooked and tender, remember this is a dip, so we're gonna have to do something else, aren't we? And I get to show you one of my very favorite kitchen appliances, kitchen tools. Now, this is gonna be fun. You could do this over a colander and push it with a wooden spoon. However, I'm just gonna pick it up. My hands are clean, other than when I touched my camera that ran away. And I'm gonna squeeze it. Do you remember that spinach dip that you used to make with the water chestnuts? Susan, do you remember that? Oh my gosh, that was fun. You'd buy those boxes of frozen spinach and you'd let them thaw out, and then you'd have to squeeze the liquid out. Ah, this smells so good. You garlic girls would love it. Ellie and Emily, who's not here. You can give her a hard time for me, Ellie. Squeeze it out because otherwise it's going to be too runny. And I need to wipe my hands here. Okay, this is going to be the fun part. And where is the creaminess going to come from? Well, it's going to come from some tahini. Yep, tahini is sesame seed paste. This is a very Middle Eastern, Mediterranean-y type of recipe. Some lemon juice, freshly squeezed lemon juice. Maybe a little more salt. I'm not going to put too much salt until I taste it. And then I'm going to add one more secret ingredient after I whir it up. Let's see. This is a safety device so we don't cut ourselves, cut our hand off, which is always a good thing. Here we go. All right, so the original recipe, which I found out, oh my gosh, that looks like that spinach dip, doesn't it? Oh, this is so fun. You could probably put some water chestnuts in there if you want. Yeah, so let's give this another go. It said it might take a little bit of time to get this the way you want it so that it's nice and creamy. I think I'm going to need to add a little bit more olive oil. That's going to help. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, now it's cooking. So this recipe was described as a nice cross between hummus and baba ganoush, only we've used Swiss chard. Tahini, lemon juice, garlic, olive oil, those are the other common culprits in hummus, but instead of the chickpeas, I'm using Swiss chard. Let's give it another little go. Okay, I'm not going to bore you. I would probably process this just a little bit more to serve it. But I want to show you my super secret ingredient. Holy cow, I don't have enough room here in this kitchen. See, I told you, you have so much fun. You do whatever you can with whatever you can. I want to show you this. How beautiful this creamy, doesn't it? It looks like that spinach dip, doesn't it? You could probably make it nice and thick like this and serve it like creamed spinach. Okay, I'm gonna get that out of the way and show you my super special secret ingredient. Chili crisp. Now you can buy all kinds of chili crisp, but I'm partial to, this is Spice Switch. My friend Sabrina here in Asheville makes this. And yeah, she's my friend. So I want to support her. But look at that. It's so pretty. You could use any kind of chili oil or even just some crushed red chili flakes if you wanted to. But what I love about this is, here's lesson time. She uses avocado oil and no sugar. A lot of chili crisps and chili oils use soybean oil or other non-desirable oils. Okay, since I've already had near disaster, I'm just going to eat this with a spoon. You could try with kale or collard, Susan. Absolutely. Why not? I think that would be fantastic. Oh my God. This is so good. It's a little rich to be eating with a spoon, but I got another secret to tell you. I've never made this before, so I wasn't sure if I was really gonna like it or not. And it's absolutely incredible. Normally you would eat this with warm pita bread or some cut up veggies or some crackers, but I just was ready to dig in and try it. It's absolutely delicious. Swiss chard, I cook the stems. I use garlic scapes. You could use garlic, olive oil, lemon juice, and then super secret ingredient, if you like spice, a little bit of chili oil or chili crisp on the top. Now, I'm going to have that for lunch with some crackers. Thank you so much for joining me for Veg with Lisa Live. I've got a really cool course coming up with a friend of mine, Steph Moore. She's an Ayurvedic coach. We're going to co-coach, co-teach a course, a little mini coaching intensive called Nourish Your Body and Slay Your Sugar Dragon. It's going to be a ton of fun. If you're interested, shoot me a message and I'll send you the details. It is amazing, Rob. Thank you for joining Veg with Lisa Live and putting up with all this silliness. Have a great week.